Ken Trahan, Lenny Vangilder of SportsNOLA.com with a wrap-up of the football weekend. Of course, the Saints setting all kinds of records in a 62-7 demolition of the Indianapolis Colts. Lenny, I know the Colts are bad, but you could not have seen this coming.
Not at this score. I mean, I think you and I were both in Tulane Stadium in 1973 and remember that score very, very well, and probably one of the 2 or 3 lowest moments in the history of the Saints franchise. So to see that kind of score put up there, that was as close to a perfect game as I've seen the Saints play under Sean Payton.
Well, the Colts are truly bad, but they can't be that bad. There had to be some quit in that football team. Dwight Freeney did not make a play. Dallas Clark didn't even see a pass throughout the entire game. Is Peyton Manning that good?
Well, Peyton Manning doesn't play defense. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that Peyton Manning does do is he keeps his offense on the field a little bit longer. You know, ideally gives your team a lead. When you're playing from behind, some of those things that, you know, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, some of those guys do on defense is predicated on having a lead, much like what Greg Williams' defense does. You saw what happened last night. The defense got a lead to work with. Greg Williams' defense produced 3 turnovers, including a pick-6 late in the game by Lee Torrance.
Yeah, nice to see turnovers going the Saints' way and trying to get that number closer to square on the season. Huge night for Drew Brees, and, of course, a huge night running the football and the Saints' defense getting turnovers. Look, they did everything well and pleased everybody. They had some pink. Kenny Chesney was in the house. Sean Payton was upstairs, and he had to enjoy the view of this one.
Yeah, it's a view from way up high, as we all know, but and he definitely got a bird's-eye view of, like we say, maybe the most complete performance they've seen in his era.
Yep, and now it's on to St. Louis and another winless football team that's bad. The Saints will win that game to get to 6-2, going into those 2 big divisional games. As for LSU, the stage is set. They took care of business against Auburn, looked very good doing so.
Absolutely. It was a little slow getting started, but boy, when they got going, did they get going? 35 points in the span of a little over 12 minutes, and they just dominated a team that is really not that bad. They're really not, and they really made them look bad on Saturday.
You know, depth is amazing. That's all about recruiting and having great players. You know, next guy up theory works well, and in this game you see guys stepping up and playing extremely well, like Ron Brooks and Kenny Hilliard, to name a few, that looked really good.
Kenny Hilliard's your 15 tailback in essence, and he was dominating. I mean, he really, you know, gives you that big option that you lost without Spencer Ware out there.
As for Tulane, there isn't much to say. I mean, they were truly awful against a very poor football team. It was a tumultuous week, and again, it's not all the coach. We knew that, and Mark Hudson's a good man, and we know that. This football team's not very good, and right now they're just, I guess, tattered would be the word. They're just spread out all over the place and numbed by this whole experience.
Yeah, this was their best chance to win a football game the rest of the way, and they were really in position to do it. They had, late in the first half, early in the second half, they were dominating the game. They were on the verge of going in for a 2-score lead, and then on a screen pass, it turns into a pick-6 the other way. The next thing you know, you're losing, and they never regained the momentum after that.
Never did, and listen, it would be hard-pressed to find another win this season, maybe one somewhere down the road, and the search for a coach has begun in earnest, and I guess that's really what everybody's going to be watching for now.
Exactly, and, you know, the good news for Tulane is they got an early start on this thing, so maybe they've got a chance to get someone in place before someone else takes them.
And a big weekend coming up in high school football, some big showdowns, Amite and Laranger, Lutcher and Assumption, Rummel and Jesuit, all 3 big games to watch for. Of course, we'll have full coverage. And don't forget, J.T. Curtis going for his historic 500th victory on Thursday night against Clark, and you can read all about it with all the different pieces from our writers on the site. Lenny, is always a pleasure.
As always.
And don't forget SportsNOLA TV, Monday night, 6 p.m. on WHNO Television, Channel 20. I'm Ken Trahan for Lenny Vangilder. Thanks for joining us.